that is a perfect segue to talk about the future of work. Remote work is here to stay in whatever form or iteration. There's kind of infinite blends of it. A couple of days in person, a couple of days, virtual, and everything in between. And then you can talk about how each generation relates to that, and you could really, really dig in. My feeling is, and I can acknowledge and recognize I'm probably a little bit more biased. I'm a full Xer. I'm not on the cusp of either generation. I love in person. And the reason is that, when you talked about the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, now the Super Bowl champions, I'm originally a New York Giant fan and also a Denver Bronco fan, NFC, AFC. But, that is beautiful. And that's the magic of what happens in person, because if you're hearing as the head coach of an NFL team that's important business organization at the end of the day, and somebody on your team is struggling with fertility, or a family member has cancer, like you mentioned, or whatever it may be, that can happen remotely, but in person, it has a higher likelihood. But in addition, Smiley, the magic of the water cooler, the parking lot, waiting for the elevator, walking to lunch. And I say to Smiley, I say, hey, Billy down the hall, he seemed a little bit off. Is that just me, or is there actually something there? You're more connected with him. Would you check in and then can we reconnect about that? That kind of stuff, while spreadsheets or getting the right copy out or a presentation or a product launch are all equally important. If you don't have that connection and that belonging and that concern and that love in the space, I don't care. You can tell me about the future of work. It's still not going to move forward with optimal behaviors. So share your thoughts on that.
Nothing will ever replace in person. And especially in the times that we live in, and I'm thinking specifically about the rapid rise and adoption of AI. And these tools are incredibly powerful, right? I'm sure you use ChatGPT or Perplexity or every single day, Claude, whatever it is, these tools, and they're only getting even better, right? So this is part of how we work, how we live, not going away. In that world, though, if we lose the human eye contact, the kind of the physical presence, the being around other people, the remembering why we do things, I think we're really in trouble, both in terms of business and frankly, just society in general.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as saying, because of that, you actually physically need to be in our office 5 days a week. And the reason is that all too often, what happens is that when companies say return to office no matter what, and I understand why they say that, right? I'm an in-person, I wrote 2 books about in-person connection. I wrote a book about friendship. I love it. The problem is that if they do say that and someone is like, well, okay, either I have to move my family to come closer to this office, which is just financially might be really hard or logistically hard, or then they have to worry about what their kids are in school. Okay, so then I move to this being close to the office. I commute 30 minutes, right? I'm sitting in traffic, or I'm getting on the bus or the subway, the metro, whatever it is. I finally get to my desk, and then my boss, who is like, you need to be here, isn't there. Because they're off on meetings, or they're working from home, or they're working from Atlanta, or they're working. And then everyone that is there has their noise canceling, quiet comfort Bose headphones on and is on wall-to-wall Teams or Zoom meetings all day long. It's like, wait a second, why did I just sit in traffic? Why did I not have 30 minutes more this morning with my daughter to have breakfast or to exercise this morning? I could have probably been more productive not sitting in traffic. So it's a yes and my whole thing is, it's hybrid is not a policy. It's not the amount of days a week in the office, although that's important to align on so that people are there at the same time. It's what's happening when people are together. It's not a policy, it's a purpose. So that when people are in person together, we're having time for human connection and brainstorming and collaboration, and the people are on the same team, or on there on hopefully on similar days, and we're doing a lunch and we're doing an idea share, and we're doing feedback, and we're having an outside speaker, or we're having an event. But also we don't lose human connection when people are virtual. It's like, oh, it's your remote day. Good luck. See ya. See you in a month. Like, we'll never have to talk to you again because you're remote. Or never, I'm not going to do time for connection on a Zoom call. Like, we should build that in regardless of where people are working from. So it's all about hybrid is the opportunity for connection all of the time.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. So it's not enough to just say 5 days a week in person. It's about making sure that we're intentional when people come together.